it's the LEGO Brits here with a pretty interesting video where today I'm going to be talking about the evolution of the LEGO First Order Battle Pack. Now, since Star Wars The Force Awakens released in 2015 and the First Order was born, as seen in front of me, LEGO has released 5 different editions of a battle pack centered around the First Order. So here are all of the First Order battle packs LEGO has made. Right here you can see we have the original one from 2015 and the newest edition being the Sith Troopers Battle Pack right here, which was from 2020. Basically, I'm going to be talking about how this eventually became this, how the idea of a First Order battle pack that is a concept that LEGO has used time and time again has formed from this and changed numerous times over into this. This is my biggest evolution of video yet, so make sure you like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into the video. But just before we start analysing how the concept of a First Order battle pack has evolved through the years, let's take a look at some basic set information. This is the original First Order battle pack, which released in 2016, was set 75132, had 88 pieces, 4 minifigures just like all of these, and was based off Star Wars The Force Awakens. When it released, this set retailed for £12 or $13. This next battle pack here was also based off Star Wars The Force Awakens and released in 2017. It is set 75166, has 117 pieces, 4 minifigures, and retail for £12 or $15. So a bit of a price hike following the original one. The third edition of the First Order battle pack is the first to be based off Star Wars The Last Jedi and released in, you guessed it, the following year, which is 2018. The set number for this set is 75197. It has 108 pieces, again has 4 minifigures, and retail for £13 or $15. The following year, being 2019, brought yet another First Order themed battle pack, being the Elite Praetorian Guard battle pack. The set number for this set is 75225. It has 109 pieces, 4 minifigures, and an extra droid, so I suppose you could count 5, but 4 minifigures mainly and an extra droid there, and retail for £13 or $15. In 2020, we received the latest edition of the First Order battle pack, being the Sith Troopers Battle Pack, which was the first to be based off the Rise of Skywalker. The set number is 75266. It has 105 pieces, 4 minifigures, and retail for £13 or $15. I think it is also worth mentioning that as of the recording of this video, it looks like we're not going to be having any more battle packs anytime soon. So these 5 battle packs are the only battle packs that LEGO has made based off the First Order, which to be honest is quite a few. Every consecutive year from 2016 up to 2020, we had a brand new First Order battle pack. So without further ado, let's get into the comparison. First of all, I think it'd be helpful to take a look at how the builds have evolved through time. So there's some major differences that we're going to talk about how the concept from this has eventually changed for the better, in my opinion, into this. This build number 1 definitely shows how the whole concept of a First Order battle pack has evolved for the better when you compare it with its successors, because you know what? This is the weakest build, and I don't think it takes a genius to work out why. Oh look, where do you put the minifigures? It's a cool turret, but there's no seats for your minifigures. There is no place to put the minifigures at all here, which is really a massive downside to this original battle pack. All of the others included a space for the minifigures to go, so that definitely shows how it's evolved. Even this one, which only included 1, which I would say is a weak point by only including 1 space. Still, you can at least put 1 minifigure, but from the original one, no minifigure spaces at all. Obviously, it could be a cool addition to any First Order base mock, but really, it just shows how fitting minifigures in those builds has definitely evolved for the better. So now that I've removed that original build, I think it's fair to say that these builds definitely evolved for the better, with this very weak original build not even taking a spot in the top ones. But you know what, which one is the best, and did it evolve for the better ending up as this rather than some of these earlier ones right here? In my opinion, yes, it did. This is the best build in my opinion, just because you can actually fit 3 minifigures in there. It has such a slick design. Definitely go and pick this up if you haven't already. It's such a cool set. It's very clearly based off the First Order Snowspeeder, and I'll show a picture of that on the screen now. It's a very cool set. This transport here is great. You could fit 2 minifigures, or maybe you could squeeze a third in the front there, but that's cool. This probably evolved in a bad way by only having this one thing, and it looks very weird. I'm not a fan of this build, but this one right here here. Take a look at this. You can actually spin these around. Includes 5 minifigures if you count that droid. So definitely the builds all evolve for the better. And you know what? There's no clear answer on which is the best. I'd say this one, but you know what? At least they all evolve for the better than this atrocity right here. But at the end of the day, all of these builds have their merits in my opinion. Like this one, even though it doesn't fit any minifigures and is probably the weakest build, you can take a look at it and it is a pretty slick turret design. So I suppose it's got that going for it. Definitely play features for this one. This one for originality, and obviously you got that stud shooter and this can move up and down, and these for fitting minifigures in. So all of these battle packs do have their merits for the builds. Let's move on to showing how the figures have evolved. So all of these battle packs include 4 minifigures, aside from, I suppose you could count this droid as one for that battle pack. However, all of these include 4 proper minifigures, and right at the back you can see I have the Force Awakens figure selections. In the middle we have the Last Jedi battle packs, and at the front right here we have the Rise of Skywalker Sith Trooper battle pack. So the question that I'm asking here is, which one is the best, and has this evolved in a good way into this, or were the original figure selections in fact better than the more recent ones? The answer for me is that it definitely has evolved through the better. However, there have been a couple of bumps in the road, and I'm going to talk about those in just a second. With the original figure selection right here, I think it was cool but a little rough around the edges, and definitely improved through the years with lots of the different figure selections. So you had 1 officer, 1 specialist, 1 plain stormtrooper, and 1 specialist stormtrooper with that weird torso. Personally, I prefer the plain First Order stormtrooper just because I think he looks cleaner and a bit nicer in the army. In my opinion, I would have taken this guy out completely because he wasn't that much in the movie, and I would have definitely put this guy in for him. So it's a bit of a better army builder. So this was a little bit rough, but you know what? It definitely evolved for the better, and we're going to see that now. Figure selection number 2 had a major improvement. Honestly, I think this is so much better than the first figure selection. It has 2 of these very, very cool specialist stormtroopers. You could take away their specialist things and they'd be normal stormtroopers, but they come with these very, very cool accessories. We got a flame trooper, which is an epic minifigure. It had only come in 1 set before, so it is such a cool figure to have, and obviously an officer. Now, I don't really understand why LEGO just keeps putting in these officers. I would much rather have another stormtrooper, but you know what? That's just nitpicking. This is one of the best figure selections in my opinion, and definitely very, very strong, and shows how it evolved for the better. This here is the 3rd figure selection from the first battle pack to be based off The Last Jedi, and you know what? I think this figure selection is pretty weak, to be honest, when it's compared to its predecessors. You know what? I think this is probably the worst figure selection, maybe second worst to the first one, but this definitely evolved for the worst. I mean, take a look at this. You get 2 specialists, which are cool, I suppose you could argue, but you'd definitely rather stormtroopers or other things, and these guys aren't in the movies very much at all. I suppose they're nice to include in mocks, but really for army building, you definitely want these guys. These guys were the draw for the set, but these seem just like unnecessary inclusions, and this actually evolved for the worst, which is quite surprising. But you know what? I'm going to be honest, this one evolved for the worst. Then came 2019, where in my opinion we had a massive comeback with this figure selection right here. This is probably the best, or maybe second best figure selection in my opinion. I think this figure selection is absolutely amazing. You get 3 Praetorian Guard figures, which were a pretty collectible figure to have back then with The Last Jedi just releasing, and these are very, very cool. I love the details on them, and they are very collectible. This guy right here is very cool as well. He's a plain First Order Stormtrooper, and I like that they threw in a Stormtrooper. I know loads of people joke about, oh, he's not meant to be here, they should have included another Praetorian Guard, he's playing with the big boys and all that, but you know what, I like the fact that they threw in a nice army building figure to go with an already great one, rather than just throwing in a token officer. They actually took the time to pick this one, and you know what, I think this is probably one of the strongest figure selections. It was a very, very good comeback from that previously mediocre selection. And in 2020 we were brought a very, very strong figure selection in the Sith Troopers Battle Pack. Unfortunately, we did see the return of the token officer minifigure, but actually this officer was exclusive, so I suppose that could be a positive. I think all of these figures are exclusive, aside from this one, which actually appeared in Kylo Ren's Shuffle, but you know what, it allowed you to get that Sith Trooper for cheap. These were very, very cool, even though they had tiny amounts of screen time in The Rise of Skywalker. They are awesome LEGO figures, very, very collectible, and great for building an army, so a very, very strong figure selection in the end, so definitely evolved eventually for the better. Thank you very much for watching this evolution of the LEGO First Order Battle Pack video. This video was very, very time consuming to make, but you know what, it was very enjoyable to take a look at how the concept has evolved through time, and you know what, I think it all worked out for the best in the end, with some very, very strong battle packs, some mediocre ones, but you know what, all of them have their merits. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. Goodbye!